Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Ismael, old man Barroso, he means business. Nobody taking him for a joke no more, are they? Nobody looking at him, calling him a bum. Nobody saying the old man was on Rolly's backside. Rolly Romero almost got knocked out by, someone who's an incompetent fighter, someone who's unqualified. Nobody's saying that now because O'Hara Davis was a guy who could fight. People forget O'Hara Davis had 25 wins and 2 losses. Now he has 3. And so O'Hara Davis got busy and he could fight. But what it shows you is when somebody has, heavy hands like that, and he's a southpaw, and he can counterpunch. And you know what? When I watch him, man, you know what? He kind of reminds me of a cross of Ricardo Mayorga and that guy who fought Miguel Cotto early in Cotto's career and hurt him. They fought in Puerto Rico, and he hurt him badly. He had Cotto out on his feet, but Cotto came back and stopped him. I can't remember his name. Ricardo Torres? Ricardo Torres is? I can't remember his name. But anyway, so it reminds me of, I could only imagine Barroso if his career was managed the way some of these other fighters who are fortunate. I can only imagine a young Barroso tranquilizing opponents. And they said he was a guy who just never got the opportunities. I mean, when you look at Barroso, this guy, 25 wins, man, you know what I'm saying? He only has a couple losses, and he has a whole bunch of knockouts. So obviously there's something special there, but I tell you what, things have finally come his way, and he is capitalizing. That win that he got last night is a big deal, because when you take a look at where Ismael Barroso is, he's not, look, man, the bottom line is he ain't supposed to be where he's at. And I mean that in a way where not many people really expected that. He kind of just came out of nowhere. But you look at him now, he's a WBA interim world super lightweight champion. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, you look and see underneath the WBA, Rolly Romero is a champ. So that tells me that he got a direct shot at Rolly Romero. Now, we know Rolly Romero is looking to fight, let me bring this down a little bit and show you. Rolly Romero is looking to fight Ryan Garcia. So, in case you guys are wondering, how is Rolly able to do that? Well, O'Hara Davis just lost. Kenneth Sims Jr., he's getting skipped over, basically. And Ismael Barroso just fought O'Hara Davis. So, basically, those 3 have been set aside. And then Ryan Garcia is 4th. So, really, for Rolly Romero, that's his... It should be Kenneth Sims Jr., but Ryan Garcia is his next option. And that's a big money fight. But for Ryan Garcia, those of you who are like, well, could Ryan Garcia fight someone else? Well, let's just take a look. Ryan Garcia, he's not even ranked in the top 9. Let me see what's going on with the WBO. Ryan Garcia is not even ranked by the WBO. Okay? So when you look at the IBF, Ryan Garcia is ranked number 5. But when you take a look at what's ahead of Ryan Garcia, hold on a second. You got Jack Catterall, Richards, and Hitchens. So even for the IBF, Suber and Matias and Richard Hitchinson, those 2 are supposed to be getting it on. I hope they make that fight because stylistically, that's a great fight. So still, Ryan Garcia, he wouldn't get a shot at Matias. For the WBC, you got Sandor Martin, Richardson Hitchens, Gary Antoine Russell, Jack Catterall. But anyway, you get down to number 7, there's Ryan Garcia. So really, the way Ryan Garcia is racked and stacked across the WBO, IBF, and WBC, Ryan Garcia is not in line to go fight anybody. He still has a fight, probably opponents that, nobody wants to see, because Ryan Garcia is a superstar. He has a big name, and people want to see him fight for titles. They want to see him fight Devin Haney. They want to see him fight, they want to see him fight Rolly. They want to see him fight Teofimo, Suber, and Matias, but he's got to earn his spot. But then when you come over to the WBA, Ryan Garcia is ranked number 4, so he's right there for the opportunity. So that's why that fight is going to happen. Now, when it comes to Barroso, the question is, well, who does Barroso beat? Can he beat Rolly Romero? I think he's already proven that he can beat Rolly Romero. Can he beat Devin Haney? I think Devin Haney can outbox him and keep away from him. Barroso has power. He can counterpunch, but, his shots aren't the fastest. They're a little bit wide. But if he touches you, obviously bad things happen. Can he beat Suber Matias? I think he has a better chance against Suber Matias because Matias fights like a young Adrian Broner. What I mean is, with the high guard, he'll let you get some shots off, and then he'll counter you and start to break you down. And Matias is a monster. But the reason I say Barroso has a better chance against him is because if Matias makes a mistake and just tries to come in with a high guard, and a guy like Ismael Barroso, who obviously hits hard, if a shot gets through, bad things happen. And Teofimo Lopez, I think he, like Devin Haney, have the athleticism to where, they should be able to avoid those big shots. But I think for Ismael Barroso, in boxing, anybody has a chance. But I like Suber Matias. I think Matias is a problem. He's powerful. His defense is underestimated. And he has a great IQ. And we know that he has extreme power. But I just think Barroso, if you're still counting Barroso out, I think you're making a mistake. It's going to take somebody who's a great boxer and someone who can move and avoid his shots and who has the conditioning to keep that pace up over the 10 or 12 rounds to really get beyond a guy like Barroso, because Barroso can be hurt, but obviously he can hurt people too. So that being said, we'll see what the future holds for Barroso, but I'm going to be honest, I hope Barroso gets himself a couple more fights, makes a few $1 million, because Venezuela is right next to Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I'm saying? And in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a lot of Venezuelans there. When I'm in Trinidad, I just see how with the economy and all the things that are happening there in Venezuela, I see how that affects people and have them displaced, because there's a lot of Venezuelans in Trinidad and Tobago right now. So for me, for him to go out and get some really good paydays, I think that'd be outstanding, because I know the amount of people he'll be able to help by him becoming a multimillionaire here in the United States. But at the end of the day, he's got to put the work in. And when you look at some of these names, I got to be honest with you. I think Barroso has a chance against just about anybody. Ramirez, Catterall, Nestor Bravo. You got this guy, Zenkos, Turarov, Richardson Hitchens, I think outboxes him. But Barroso's going to step to you. He's going to fight you. Josh Taylor's not in the mix anymore. But when I just look at these names, like Arnold Barbosa Jr., he's a monster too. But I just think Barroso has a chance. So anybody out here still underestimating old man Barroso, y'all need to think twice. I'm not sure what he's going to do next, but it's not going to be Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero already said, he said last night, they caught him on video, he said, I don't want to get hit with that SHIT no more. So obviously Rolly, especially him being out there with Mayweather, and he got his little secret society connection too. He's not going to find himself back in a line of fire to face Barroso anytime soon. Matter of fact, I think he has a tough time with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is just the speed and everything. It's different from sparring. I think Ryan Garcia has a good chance to upset the apple cart against Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero seems to be a kind of guy who's like, look, I made maybe a couple million fighting Ryan. I probably make about 9 million, and then he ain't worried about anything after that. He just almost comes like a Ricardo Mayorga, a guy who's going to get in the ring. He's a tough guy who hits hard. He's going to entertain the crowd. He's going to sell a fight. And I think that's kind of the direction Rolly Romero goes on. Ryan Garcia, I think, goes on to become to continue being a superstar. I just think his superstar status gets amplified if Ryan picks up a title at 140. That being said, Ismael Old Man Barroso, he means business. And anybody getting in the ring with him, it's a different passion, a different intensity that he's fighting with. And, you know, when you got these guys, man, there's poor, there's poverty, and there's not having shit. You know what I'm saying? And Ismael Barroso, he comes from not having shit. And when you got a guy who comes from that, they fight differently, man. They fight differently. And I just think anyone who gets in there and underestimates him and still trying to joke and say, oh, this old man, and, you know, O'Hara Davis was, you know, I hate to hear people say this, but they call him bombs. O'Hara Davis was a bum. Broly was a bum. We're giving too much credit to old man Barroso. You keep thinking that, and you get in the ring and watch Barroso get himself another big win. Just like in basketball when that guy Jeremy Lin came off the bench. People were like, what the hell? It was just a fluke. Put him in another game. Banged out again. Put him in another game. Banged out again. Now the whole world knows who Jeremy Lin is. He may have kind of disappeared and everything from the sport of basketball, but he came in and he did enough to make sure everybody knew his name. And I think Barroso could be that guy like Jeremy Lin who has come off the bench. And Barroso's going to rack up, I think, a couple more good performances. And he's going to make some good money. And I hope he does. That being said, y'all keep cool in the breeze.